part 6 of I took my TV off the wall, canceled all the streaming services, got rid of all the bootlegged passwords, and what the heck is going on with all that? So part 6, this part will be about the rest of my unfounded fears and the benefits that are already happening 2 weeks in, and perhaps a little bit about the withdrawal effects at the same time, because everything's mostly positive, but it's very interesting to see as we break habits. Where do we notice the triggers to relapse, shall we say? Anyway, listen in.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Misha Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
Yeah, so fear number 1, of course, with taking down the TV, was that it would negatively impact the relationship with my 20-year-old son. Coming out of my divorce, 12, 13 years ago, we spent a lot of time eating dinner, having meals, and the TV was the focal point, and it was a way for us to bond, talk, laugh together, just spend time together. Perhaps not even needing to talk, but just being there, and of course all that was unfounded, and all that was unfounded, and took the TV down, and we've just been talking more than ever, just about life, business, fun stuff, ideas that he has. He's got great ideas for me and what I'm doing with my business, and it's been very, very cool. Yes, not having the distraction of the TV, and then also I'm barely on my phone. I've got rid of the social media on my main phone. I have multiple phones. I have a phone that I can check social media on and post on and stuff like that, but I'm so happy being free from social media that I haven't posted since my birthday. Oh my gosh, August 2nd, whatever day it is now, wherever we are. Oh my gosh, sorry about the cough. But yeah, I've been off the social media, and I never post. And it's interesting because as I'm looking to speak on podcasts, and I'm talking about how in my pod pitch, in my email pitch, pod pitch email request, when I send out those emails, I'm saying, hey, I'm going to promote our interview to my audience. And my audience is varied, so I've got my podcast audience, of course, so I'll promote it there. I'll promote it to my email list, which is great, and I'll promote it to my Influence Army members. So there's 3 layers of audience, and then the 4th layer is social media. And if they were to check and see, am I promoting my interviews on the social media, they'd see the answer is no. And so I think what I'm going to do is make it clear in my pod pitch email. Well, I started making it clear, and I've pinged back and forth that, hey, realistically, I'm not going to post it on social media because I'm rarely ever on there these days. But then I got scared, but I'm like, you know what? Authenticity is the best. Might as well tell the truth. Not pretend I'm going to post it on social media when I'm not going to. Or I'm not hiring anybody today, tomorrow, or the next day, anytime soon, it seems. You never know, though. That could all change in a heartbeat. Anyhow, Waylon and I are a lot more present with each other. A lot of times now when he's hanging out with me, I noticed a couple things about Waylon. One is he oftentimes, and this has been for a long time, doesn't have his phone when we're talking. So he's not talking to me and having his phone going at the same time. Like, he talks to me and his phone's in his room or somewhere else or whatever. So Waylon's got a great habit of being present, and I love it. And the other thing I realized from when I took down the TV with Waylon was that turns out we have been talking a lot more than I thought. Like, we've been having tons of great conversations for a while about his future, what he's doing with his life, about what he's testing and trying. You know, I'm encouraging him, supporting him as best I can. You know, we talk about business strategies, we talk about investment stuff, about, you know, saving money, all kinds of stuff. We've been talking about that for a while. So taking down the TV just created space for even more of that. So that's amazing. I had that clear awareness of like, oh my gosh, we're super tight. We have tons of great conversations. And now we just have room for even more conversations. Of course, until he finally moves out and gets married and has careers, or doesn't get married, or whatever. I'm imagining we'll continue to have great conversations. The timing of how, when, and where will probably just be different than I imagine. Anyway, another fear that I had, there was 4 fears. 1, what's going to happen with my relationship with Waylon? Number two was, oh my gosh, my friends, any future girlfriends, I don't have a TV. How the heck is that going to work? So many people bond over TV, watch TV, streaming services, whatever. So I was like, man, because I have the sense that a girl or girls, maybe women, let's say, women, maybe entering my life, I'm sort of coming out of this closed emotional availability, I feel like. So there's new space for friends who are guys and friends who are girls, and who knows, maybe there'll be opportunity for romantic friendships with women. Am I saying that right? I don't know. Who knows? Trying to keep my expectations low. But anyway, I was like, isn't this interesting? Right as I feel this new emotional availability, I'm taking the TV off the wall, which is, you know, such a central point of what a lot of people in Western culture, you know, talk about. The shows we're watching, the streaming services, the documentaries, all this stuff, right? And so I'm by no means poo-pooing streaming at all. There's great content for all kinds of people. It's time for something different for me. Anyway, as I said, that season is closing for now. So more will be revealed there. But it turns out I wasn't watching a ton of shows or movies or streaming with anybody anyway. Actually, I'd been very much, I don't want to say isolated, but hanging out, you know. Any of the TV time was just with me or with Waylon and I. And, you know, tons of interaction with people, but mostly that would be, you know, Zoom calls, meetings, group calls, walks, coffee with people. Like, I had almost no interaction around TV and streaming with people anyway. So that fear, turns out, was totally unfounded. It's just totally unfounded. So, that wasn't a valid excuse. Fear number 3 was fear of missing out. And, right, because there are great shows. There is great content. And yeah, I might have to miss out on some stuff. And the reality is, there's always something to miss. There is always something to miss. And I intuitively know right now, I was like, you know what, it's going to be okay. Missing out on the next Game of Thrones or missing out on the next amazing documentary. You know, a lot of times I can just go to the movies. Hey, I'll go to the movies and watch a good show. Watch a good movie that stirs the soul, or kind of movie that I know I like. Good adventure, good Western, good sci-fi, a good thinker. Love the thinkers. Like the dark comedies too. Or I can just go watch a show at someone else's house. If they're like, hey, there's this great show, I'll be like, great, I'm coming over. Let's check it out. Or if I got a girlfriend, she's like, I like to watch movies. Great, let's watch a movie at your house. Oh my gosh, thank you for listening to this. And again, I'm sure someone's like, what does this have to do with business? Hey, it all bleeds in together, man. By the time you hit your 50s, all this stuff is just a big mishmash. The emotional upheaval of one blends into the other. Man, the beginning stages of entrepreneurship, of new endeavors. Holy mackerel. Talk about emotional upheaval. So that can bleed into your relationship life. Or, you know, the upheaval of relationships, and that bleeds into your work life. So I'll trust that this is of value and that you are getting something you need. Yeah, so the fear of missing out, you know, what was I missing out on as well by being engaged with the streaming box on the wall? Probably lots of stuff I was missing out on. And by the way, I've already, since I took the TV off, I'm like, oh, there are other things to do out there in this big old wide world at that time. So it's like, oh yeah, someone was like, hey, let's go have dinner and play cards. I was like, all right, let's go have dinner and play cards. Can't remember the name of the little card game we were playing, but it was super fun. We went and had pizza and played cards at the pizza place for a couple hours. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Or, yeah, there's tons of things to do in Encinitas at night. Of course, there's walking, this, that, and the other. And let me just say, too, here that, fear number 3 was, what in God's name am I going to do for that 2 hours? So this is addressing fear number 3. What in God's name am I going to do for that 2 hours? Fear number 4, I think, was the fear of missing out. Let me check. Yes, fear number 4 was fear of missing out. So I've been talked about that. Fear number 3 was, what in God's name am I going to do for those 2 hours? And fear number 3. So let me just say, as soon as I got rid of the box on the wall, I was cooking dinner. I had some nice music playing, and it was amazing. I'd gotten into the habit of having the TV playing while I was cooking dinner. And that was nice. I gotta say, that was fun. Having some mindless entertainment in the background while I was cooking dinner. Now, as I'm cooking dinner, I'll either have it silent, which is incredible, being present to the moment and the sounds of what's going on around you, unbelievable, being present to the food you're working with. I see why chefs chef now. It's probably a meditative practice for them. Sitting and eating at the dinner table as opposed to the couch with my fancy convertible coffee table to dinner table. So eating dinner at the kitchen table has been, or at the dining room table. I have a tiny house. It's a tiny table in a little dining room space. So anyway, eating at the dinner table, there we go. Like, this is what I've noticed. So first off, I sat down and I look up and I have this incredible view out the front door. So front door's open. It's a beautiful Encinitas evenings, and I see just trees and flowers and just this depth of view that I have out the front door is super cool, super pretty. I love it. It's one of my favorite views of my house. I was like, oh my gosh, this view is crazy. I forgot about that. I love it. You might sit down and go, well, that's not that spectacular, but hey, moves and stirs my soul. So there you have it. Then I'm eating, listening to some nice music. That was such a pleasant experience. No phone, no distractions, no TV, me and my thoughts. And then eating with no sound, like no music, I mean. So I'm just eating. And I was like, I heard myself eating. It was so crazy. I was so present in the moment. I like heard the crunching of the salad, and just so good. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole little world right here. So just that moment was amazing, and I've had it a few times. And also the thoughts have definitely been running when I've been eating. Nothing to distract me. No phone, not checking news, not watching streaming, no music. It's like, oh, here's the thoughts cranking away. So an opportunity to let go of those thoughts. I'll also say the sunsets have been amazing. Like, I'm definitely walking out to the front veranda a ton more. And just seeing so many sunsets. I can't even tell you, so many beautiful evenings. And I have a little ocean view off the front veranda. And so, gosh, I can see downtown Encinitas, I can see the ocean, sunsets, lights. The light at night is so pretty. So just a lot more awareness of what's right out in front of the house. That's amazing. Yeah, there was more to, books. I've already read a book. It was more of a fiction book. I realized that I like more nonfiction. I like, I always have. But a book that when my mom passed away, I grabbed some of her books. My mother's always had an eclectic reading list, and some of the books she's given me over the years have been incredible. Again, she passed away, 10, 13 years ago, something like that, 11 years ago. And so I grabbed a few books, and this one was called A Test of Wills. And the name, super compelling. I've been carrying the book around for 11 years. I finally was like, time to read it. A Test of Wills. And name of the book, epic. Book itself, I don't know how it made the bestseller list, but not my favorite. But I plowed through it. I was like, I'm gonna finish this son of a gun. And it had some high points, but got another book called The Box, which is about the history of the shipping container, which is amazing. That's the kind of stuff I like, when the Michael Lewis style books where they blend, history with a story. And this is on the shipping container, and I love business stuff, so this book is awesome. I'm into that. I just plucked The Power of Now off the bookshelf. I've had that floating around forever. I've never read it, but how long have I been carrying that darn book around? Definitely sleeping patterns have already adjusted. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'm not gonna turn on the TV and veg. So going to bed, waking up. I always wake up early, but so that hasn't really changed. But just an adjustment there. What else? So lots of fun stuff is falling into replace my fear of missing out. It's like, oh my God, what have I been missing out on by sitting in front of the TV? And listen, it's only like a couple hours. It was only a couple hours. It was nothing crazy. Still working, being productive, starting my influence army, doing all this stuff like emails, podcasting. I've been super productive, super creative. I was just like, what do I want to do with my downtime? What do I want to do with my downtime? I guess that's a better way to frame all this. I'm at 20 minutes. I'll do one more episode on the habits trying to get me to relapse on the TV. The box calling to me, put me back on the wall. Yeah. So the emotional quirks of it. And then also, I actually have another full episode. So there's some other good stuff to talk about. A scientist, philosopher, Blaise Pascal. He has a great quote. So I'll speak to that. Anyway, thanks for listening. Of course, if you want to get on the waiting list for the next time that I open the Influence Army, for people who want to go on a podcast guest speaking tour and want the support, resources, guidance, coaching, all that around it, go to influencearmy.com/waitlist, influencearmy.com/waitlist, and you'll be the first to know when we open the doors again, and you'll get something special for being on the wait list, whether it's a discounted price or extra bonuses or things like that. So jump on the wait list. All right, I am done.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.